Every year in the NFL, we got teams that go from worst to first. That's why we all love the NFL, right? So can the Bears be the team that does it this next season, going from last place to first place? Let's talk about it. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports all back at it with another video talking some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, guys, please do hit that subscribe button down below. Please hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. All right, let's hop into this. So this is an interesting thing to talk about here. So we know about this trend of teams going from last to first. It always happens, folks. It always happens. There are some teams in the NFL that make that jump. So there was an article that came out here from ESPN, which basically ranked the NFL's most likely worst to first teams for the 2025 season. All right, so most likely to go from worst to first, they ranked those teams. And the first team they had on the schedule was not the Bears. I thought it would be the Bears, but it was the 49ers, okay? The 49ers were number one. But then right after the 49ers were the Chicago Bears at number two. Now, real quick on the Niners, honestly, it all boils down to two things. One is the division isn't that great, right? You got teams that are decent, but nothing great. Cardinals, you're not scared of. Seahawks, right? We'll see. And the Rams, are kind of up and down. So it's like not a strong division. And then you take into account that 49ers have the easiest schedule in all of football, right? Those two things combined is a perfect formula to go from last to first, especially for the team that a lot of people before the start of last season predicted to win the division. So yeah, that one, I'm not even counting, all right? Because the 49ers, that's like a gimme. That's like a layup, all right? So really, to me, the number one team on this list are the Chicago Bears. And this actually isn't just like an opinion that somebody put together. This is actually based off of the initial simulation with ESPN's Football Power Index, which is called the FPI, which is primarily based on win totals from the betting markets in conjunction with each team's schedule. All right, so there's like a formula for this. It's not just somebody that just wrote their opinion on this. So when they talk about the Bears, they talk about the fact that they finished 22nd in FPI last season, but they're seen as above average entering the 2025 season. That's because Caleb Williams should improve in his second year under center, and Bears added a lot of talent on the offensive line to give him better protection. There's also a lot of optimism about new head coach Ben Johnson, but it's important to remember that teams with new coaches and coordinators tend to take a small step back in the first season. We may not notice this because new coaching staffs are usually brought in after particularly bad seasons, making a slight improvement a simple regression towards the mean. The biggest issue holding the Bears back this season is that they have the second hardest schedule in the NFL. Per my DVOA rankings, more on the hardest schedule later, all three other NFC North teams, Vikings, Lions, and Packers, made the postseason in 2024, and only Minnesota is an expected decline in 2025. Outside of their divisional play, the Bears have to face the AFC North and NFC East. They also must go on the road to San Francisco and Las Vegas. Both teams are on the list, but they should be much better this season. All right, so completely agree with this. Completely agree, all right? Their odds of winning the division, by the way, are listed at about 15%, and odds making the playoffs at about 36%. So I definitely say the Bears would be the most likely team here to go last to first. And again, easy to say that, me being a Bears fan, thinking I'm a homer, but it just makes all the sense in the world, right? Minnesota, as the article talked about, expected to decline. Unless J.J. McCarthy turns out to be Jaden Daniels, I don't think a rookie quarterback is ready to step in and help a team win the division right away. And hey, they made the playoffs last year. They have a great head coach. I'm not expecting them to be a bottom feeder or bottom dweller. I'm just saying they're going to take a step back. And it's very, conceivable to see a world in which the Bears are better than the Vikings, all right? I'm not saying the Vikings are going to be terrible, but the Bears can be better. So really, we're talking about the Lions and we're talking about the Packers. And more notably, we're talking about the Lions, right? They are the prohibitive favorite to win the division. But the Lions just lost Ben Johnson. So that was an addition for the Bears and a subtraction for the Lions. So it's like a double whammy there, right? Because one team got better, the other team got worse. And to me, the offense for the Lions should take a step back. I'm not saying that, the Lions won't be good. They most likely will win the division. But Ben Johnson, if he is as good as advertised, if he is the offensive mastermind and offensive genius, then the Lions offense will take a step back because he's not there. And Dan Campbell, he's a great leader, but he's not the offensive genius that Ben Johnson is. And so you could see that happening. They also lost Frank Ragnow, who their starting center retired. So it's like they have that those two things taking place that made them worse, right? And so you see kind of some holes you can poke there. Again, they probably will win the division, but you can see certain ways that they can decline. And then we take a look at the Packers. And look, to me, the Packers are getting the benefit of the doubt because they have proven to be better than the Bears for years now. All right? So I'm just giving them that benefit of the doubt. But on paper, I never feel like this Packers team is that great. All right, I'm not sold on Jordan Love as this, franchise perennial quarterback. And I'm not saying Caleb Williams is at this point either. He gets to prove himself. But I don't consider Jordan Love a top 10 quarterback. I don't. I think you can give me 10 other quarterbacks that are better. I think he's a decent starting level quarterback, but he's not elite is what I'm basically trying to tell you, okay? And then no one on their offense really scares me. Maybe Josh Jacobs, but that might be it. They've got like 4 wide receiver 4s. Honestly, folks, I'm not trying to, clown on the Packers here, but I really would feel the same way if I was a Packers fan, right? That I don't feel like our offense is that great. Offensive line, okay, fine. Skill level players, not that great. Defense, okay. So it's like, where are you elite? Where are you elite? All right, Matt LaFleur, Josh Jacobs. Maybe those are the 2 areas where you feel good about, but everywhere else, it's like, I don't know. So I don't see the Packers as some world beaters. And so to me, it really does come down to the fact that we have a tough schedule, but we saw when Sean McVay took over the Rams, they had immediate success. All right? Matt Nagy, you can even use our own head coach here a few years back. Matt Nagy came in with Mitchell Trubisky, won the division, right? So and that was the early part of his coaching career when he won Coach of the Year and had that initial early success. So that can happen with new head coaches. They don't have to struggle out the gate before they get better. Now, that could be the case, but it doesn't have to be the case. And so to me, I just feel like with all of these additions and with me mainly putting my money on Ben Johnson being that guy, yeah, the Bears can make that jump. They can make that jump. The biggest obstacle, I don't actually believe, are the Lions or the Packers or the Vikings. All right? The biggest obstacle is the schedule because that's a tough schedule the Bears have. The road schedule is insane. So it's just going to be, hey, how much better can Ben Johnson make this offense when you add a guy like Colson Loveland, a Luther Burden, in addition to DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, in addition to an offensive line with Joe Thuney, now Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman. And the fact of the matter is that the defense is also still solid. You have Dennis Allen, so you upgrade as a defensive coordinator there. So, the folks, not to mention a former number 1 overall pick in Caleb Williams, who should take another step forward. All of the pieces are there. All the pieces are there for it to happen. So, I honestly feel like if you were not a Bears fan, you could see a world in which this could be the case, in which they go last to first. Just things have to align right. But the 2 things that if they align right, this thing's going to take off. This thing's going to the moon. And that's Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. That's it. So let me know what you guys think about that, man. Do you think that is possible? I don't think it's crazy at all, man. I really don't. You might think I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but I'm just letting the facts, or I should say my opinion, be known. Hopefully it'll turn into facts. But let me know what you guys think, man. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts as always. Thanks for watching.